Good evening, CineNerds.
Hey, I'm one of your crazy ex-boyfriends, JP.
And I'm Ryan, and I'm in Lesbians with you. Welcome to the evening. Welcome to the podcast. We have a fun one tonight. Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
And this is one that I watched a lot. And the reason I watched this movie a lot, my son was obsessed with this movie.
I'm obsessed with this movie.
I know I am too. Yeah, but
this is one of those rewatchable movies that you can put on the background, and it's never not appropriate. It always fits. It's just great.
And this is one initial reactions. When this movie came out, I had no desire to see this film.
Really?
Yeah, I had no desire to see this film, and it was mainly because of Michael Cera. I was not a fan of his, and when I saw a movie coming out with him, I was just like, I don't want to see it. Don't like him. And I did not watch this movie until about a year after it came out.
I'm not a big fan of his either, but holy shit, was this good.
Well, yeah, I realized that a year after it came out when I was finally sat down and watched it, and I was like, holy
I didn't see this in the theater either.
Yeah.
I really wish I would have seen this in the theater. This would have been a great theater
Yeah,
movie.
it would have been great in the theater. But, I waited like a year, and finally when I saw it, I was like, why in the fuck did I wait to watch this movie? Because it was so good.
This movie needs a re-release. Because I think this movie is instantly turned into a cult classic, without a doubt. The soundtrack's amazing. I think this movie would crush at a re-release.
They should have done it when they did the animated series with the original cast.
I haven't watched that yet. I forgot about that.
I haven't watched
Holy
it
shit.
either. Yeah, I've not watched it yet either, but I've heard it's like amazing.
Okay, cool. I want to see that. I'm gonna actually put that in the queue and get that going. I know it's already in my Netflix queue, but I'm gonna get that moved up.
Yeah, it's one of those, for whatever reason, I have not watched either, and I don't know why. And even my son, like when they originally announced the animated series, my son was like texting me going, "Dad, this is happening with the original cast voice acting," and I was like, "That sounds amazing."
I'm excited. I didn't even know there was original cast with the animated too. So, just to dig into this a little bit before we get into initial reactions or impressions, Brie Larson, Chris Evans, Brandon Ruth, Anna Kendrick, Bill Hader did the voiceover for some of the video game moments. You've got Kieran Culkin crushing it. Kim Pine, frickin' Mrs. Kenobi herself. There's
Mary Elizabeth.
Yep, that's Ewan McGregor's wife as well.
Chris Evans.
I said Chris Evans.
Did you say Chris Evans?
I said, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, trust me,
I
I said
that.
it. You got it. These are all before he was even Captain America. This is after Brandon was Superman, but it's still spectacular. Or was it before or after? No, it was after.
Oh yeah, this is
it was after.
Yeah, this is after. He played Superman.
See, I think this movie might have been why he wasn't so well received as Superman, because he was a vegan in this movie.
But he had
wait. Vegan, it's time to be gone. There's some amazing one-liners in this movie.
The vegan power was real.
Oh my god.
And I hate Brie Larson. I'm not a fan of Brie Larson, but I loved this movie so much. I think I ignored the fact that, and at the time, when I saw this, I didn't realize that I did not like Brie Larson. And now,
did you know she was a pop star?
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that. She has 2 albums.
What?
Yes, I didn't know this, and I found this out. And I was like, wait, get out of here. So she tried to become a pop star before an actress. So
obviously, she wasn't good at that either.
When I heard about this and I saw the covers and saw her fashion during the era she was trying, all I could think of was Robin Sparkles from How I Met Your Mother. So I was like, Jesus. Yeah, I don't know, dude. This movie, though, the imagination, the creativity. Edgar Wright, as director, does amazing things.
I was getting ready to say Edgar Wright directed this.
Oh my god!
If you don't know who Edgar Wright is, I don't even have his IMDb up. But I can tell you right now, he gave us right now. He gave us Shaun of the Dead. He gave us World's End. He gave us Hot Fuzz. He gave us Paul. He gave us. I mean, the list goes.
He loves Simon
on.
Pegg. He's kind of like what's his name? Johnny Depp and Tim Burton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Simon Pegg's a much cooler actor to have in every one of your films.
Then Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I'd much rather have Simon Pegg in my film.
So I love Simon Pegg. I love Shaun of the Dead, but I do feel like a lot of his shit's overrated. I'm sorry. Nick Frost saves the day a lot in the movies for sure. So I'm more of a fan of Nick Frost than Simon Pegg.
I don't entirely. I think just the combo of them is great.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But if I was to pick one of them, Nick Frost would win.
Yeah, but I just think that neither one's as good without the other. And I think that was kind of shown. And I love the movie, but Attack the Block.
What's the one that I love? Attack the Block.
I love
by the
Attack
way.
the Block,
First of all,
but Nick Frost isn't as great because he's missing Simon.
that and the Pacific Rim sequel are the only things I'll give John Boyega any kind of credit for. Other than that, I'm sorry, Boyega kick rocks.
Supposedly, we're getting a sequel to Attack the Block.
Not with Boyega though.
Yes.
Oh, come on, no
Yeah.
way. He
Yeah.
won't. This guy.
He's been the one champion wanting to do it.
This guy though, he's out of his fucking mind.
Well, yes, he is now. But when he did Attack the Block, he was young and not manipulated by everything else that went on.
I cannot. Anyone who attacks Star Wars for diversity, just go the fuck away. Go away, because we're talking about a fictional galaxy with thousands of species, but it's not diverse enough. Fictional galaxy, thousands of species, alien life forms. So yeah, that he made me mad recently.
Multiple colored life forms.
I digress. Scott Pilgrim. So yeah, so I'm gonna. We didn't do initial reactions.
We didn't do well, I kind of did because I said, I originally watched this.
Oh, okay.
So you did not, and we didn't do a synopsis.
So, boy who is in a band has a.
I got one right here, a quick one. A young man must defeat his new girlfriend's 7 evil exes who are willing to do anything to prevent her happiness with someone else.
I was gonna give a little precursor to that, but that's about right.
Yeah. He also plays in a band.
We are Sex Bombs.
1, 2, 3, 4. So sad.
That's actually, isn't that Clash of Demon Head? That's the other band in the movie.
Yeah, I think it is.
It is. But Sex Bomb is a character from Super Mario Brothers, which is cool because Edgar Wright actually went to Nintendo and he got permission to use Legend of Zelda music and different highlights from it. So it was pretty cool that was a thing and that Babam was in there giving more reference, taking Nintendo further. There's a lot of old throwbacks that are in this movie all throughout that are great. But I love that Sex with Bomb thing because you know what? When the music kicks in, one of the things I love about the visionary aspect of this and the imagination is as the notes are hitting and the music hitting, they show these like subtle, they almost look like clouds, but they're defined shapes, like lightning bolts coming out behind them and energy moving. And they pan out with a fish lens and it like encompasses the room, makes the room look smaller, focusing on the band. The way that it's done is awesome.
It just feels very comic book. Like it was ripped from a comic book page, not a comic book film,
But while the music's playing, that kind of cinematography doing that, though, it makes that music just pop. It gives it so much more character and defines it. So I was here for it. I love that. All the music on this whole thing is amazing.
Well, I even listed this in our top soundtracks.
You did. Did you list it or did you do honorable mention with it?
I believe it was in my top 5.
I think I piggybacked with the honorable mention.
I actually think this might have been my number 2.
Oh, okay.
If I'm remembering right.
This soundtrack reminds me, if I had to link it to a song, it reminds me of the song called Motherfucker from Beck. I don't know why the songs in this album all kind of remind me of that vein of music, and it's just so good. It's just the element of distortion, the pacing, the groove, the whole thing. It's so good. But yeah, so as Scott Pilgrim. By the way, Scott Pilgrim. The original foundation of this is based off a comic book. It is all comic book based. It became a video game, as well as the movie. So
The video game was super fun too.
Well, I haven't played it. I keep hearing that. I think I need to acquire it.
And it's like an old 8-bit style game, but it's fucking killer.
Scott Pilgrim is pretty much he comes off as a really creepy dude, to be honest. In the beginning, we've talked in previous episodes about differences in age.
It's not even Scott Pilgrim. It's Michael Cera. It's just he comes off like that.
Well, no, because the character is 22 dating a 17-year-old, so there's that aspect, which in all retrospect isn't that bad.
Yeah,
but he's definitely taking advantage of this girl. Her name's Knives Chow, the character. And he's taking advantage of her because she's essentially his rebound from this evil ex that he dated 431 days prior, and that was Brie Larson. And I will get to why that matters later. But so that's essentially his rebound. He knows he needs to break it off with her. He keeps trying to because he develops feelings for Ramona Flowers, who is played by
Mary Elizabeth.
We got to keep talking about Mrs. Kenobi because she's beautiful.
She plays Hera in
Syndulla.
Ahsoka.
Yeah. But anyway, so
I love her green too.
she's well done, Ewan McGregor. Well done. That's all we're gonna say there.
Thank you, Star Wars.
But this has my other girl in it too. I'm gonna be really honest. I love Aubrey Plaza. I love her, and I love that her character throughout the movie, when she goes to use swearing or expletives, there's a little bar that goes over her mouth that's like static, and it just, I don't know why, it's cool.
I loved Allison Peel, the girl, Kim Pine.
Yeah, the drummer.
The drummer. I love her in this fucking movie.
So, fun fact about Allison Pine. So, Mark Webber, Allison Pine, and Johnny Summers, they spent several weeks learning to play together as an actual band for this. So they took the time to actually make it look like they're unified in what they're doing. And it pays off because it definitely looks like they're playing. So I appreciated that. I appreciate when people go to that level of detail. But yeah, so he's got feelings for Ramona Flowers, who is this like girl who's well out of his league. He sees her and it's almost like instantaneous. Like, who is that? I need to find her. I need to know more about her. And she has, as we discussed, the 7 evil exes that was brought up in that summary. And as he convinces slowly Ramona Flowers to date him, he starts coming across these exes, and each battle is its own up to the ultimate boss. But along the way, these adventures are so fucking fun.
The fight sequences are so amazing.
They're just fun.
Yeah.
I love the battle of the bands when they're going back and forth between that clash of it's the DJs. It was the DJs, the twin DJs versus the Sex Bombs. And when they're going back and forth, they each develop their powers come to life from their band and their instruments. And the DJs are these twin Japanese guys, and so they have these twin dragons that come up and just start beating the crap out of Sex Bombs. Well, Sex Bombs finds their inner strength, and this monster comes up and starts fighting against that, and they end up winning this battle of the bands.
That is actually probably my favorite battle.
It's pretty badass.
It's pretty awesome.
It's pretty badass.
And I really, 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 really always loved the Chris Evans fight.
Yeah.
Did
you notice all the stunt doubles have his voice?
Yeah. I loved the Chris Evans fight, but the one that always is special to me is the Brandon Routh, because I loved him as Superman, and
dude,
I was so excited to see him.
I also loved him as Superman, and but I didn't like his character, but so his name's Todd, and Todd is dating Brie Larson's character, which is Scott's ex. Mm-hmm. But Todd is a vegan, and that's where he gets all of his powers from.
His vegan powers.
And so he's beating the crap out of Scott, and it's not looking good for Scott. And Scott tricks him, and he drinks a coffee latte, whatever, with whole milk in it, or a creamer or something, half and half. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the vegan police show up, and one of the vegan police is Thomas Jane, one of the Punishers.
Yeah.
And I was so happy when I saw him. I was like, fuck yeah. It was just a good moment, and the way he finishes the defeat though is that quote I used where he goes, "Be gone, it's time to be gone," and he headbutts him. Every time he takes out or wins against one of these exes too, they turn into like change, like 8-bit change,
Yeah.
to represent an arcade scenario. So, and to give context, because I didn't catch this ever watching it, I didn't know like. Ramona Flowers' character talks about a subspace highway in the movie, and so it's kind of how she travels from point to point because she delivers for Amazon.
Yeah.
Which Amazon was around 2011. Why I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was around. Well, it's not as big as it was now.
It was like Temu then. But anyways, she talks about this subspace highway, and she says it doesn't work in Canada. By the way, Scott Pilgrim's Canadian. Fuck. Anyways, he can see this though because he can tap in through these subspace intersections. This is part of the comic. By the way, I've never read the comics, and I've never seen the comics, so I've only seen this movie. So, but based on that, I thought it was kind of cool how they start tying all the powers together, and each one's got their own powers. So I was here for it. But yeah, you're right. The Brandon Routh fight. Pretty fucking great.
And I think, like I said, I love it so much just because I was so happy to see Brandon Routh because he got so much hate after playing Superman, and we can all agree it was a bad Superman movie, but he was a great Superman.
I don't agree.
Well, I don't agree and don't disagree. There was great things in the movie, and there was some stuff that just did not work. Period.
Yeah, but we've all had that happen in almost everything except for Christopher Reeve. Everyone's had little things they complained about. So to me, let that grow into another movie. I wanted
to see because start to finish, I thought Brandon Routh was fantastic as Superman, and so to see him in something else after he got so much hate, I was.
What do you think about Kevin Spacey? It's Lex Luthor.
You know what?
Let's leave all the crap out of the politics of Spacey. But
that's where I'm at right now. I have a hard time accepting him now because of all the crap. I guess if I'm going to ignore it, I will say he's not a bad Lex. He was not a bad Lex. He was no Gene Hackman.
Oh no, that's untouchable.
And he was definitely no Michael Rosenbaum. No, don't squint at me. Michael Rosenbaum is the best Lex.
Oh wait. I'm mixing. I'm sorry. I'm not saying you're right. I don't dislike him. I was thinking of fucking what's his face, Jesse. What's the one who was in the more recent ones?
Oh, you mean
is it Jesse Eisenberg?
Yes, Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah,
I could. That one should never have happened.
No, I'm talking about Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Michael Rosenbaum.
He's good.
Michael Rosenbaum to me is probably the best Lex Luthor. Second, Gene Hackman, and third, honestly, in Lois, Superman and Lois, the guy from Walking Dead.
Dude, he's kind of like a no bullshit dude. I like him.
He was a vicious Lex.
I want to see him in like a protagonist role. I don't want to see him as a villain anymore though.
Yeah.
I want to see him do something like good with that same badassery.
Well, he did it in Walking Dead.
Yes and no. I mean, it's because he kind of for there was moments with him and yeah. So Scott Pilgrim. Versus the world. Some of the other aspects. So you've got the exes, the 7 evil exes, and then there's the ultimate boss at the end of it, which is they keep calling him G-Man, and it's Gideon. Gideon is played by Jason Schwartzman. If you're not familiar with him, just pretty much put on any Wes Anderson film and he's in it. But this movie, the progression of it, the way it keeps going and keeps developing, there's one character who I cannot get enough of this movie, and it's Wallace Wells. It's Scott Pilgrim's roommate, played by Kieran Culkin, and he is a gay roommate who is like the busybody who connects the neighborhood. Scott won't tell his sister, who's played by Anna Kendrick, that he's dating a girl younger than him. So right off the rip, he's like, "Oh, I won't tell anyone. Don't worry." And within like 30 seconds, he's already called her and hung up his phone. And she's calling Scott saying, "How are you dating a girl that's so young?" And then it flips to that later on when he has broken up with her, and he's, "Oh, I won't tell you." Anna Kendrick in 2 seconds, and you wouldn't even see him touch the phone.
Yeah.
So the way that keeps progressing, and the best part is because he's gay, he has boyfriends over, and Scott and him share a bed. And so every morning Scott wakes up. At first there's just one other guy in the bed, and then the next time there's 3 guys in the bed. And it's like every time it's like, was Scott part of this orgy and he doesn't know? So that was a whole little interesting take too. But Wallace's character, just his one-liners, his wittiness, his negative outlook, I love everything about it. Good character, amazing character.
I just read a little fun fact on here that it actually makes a lot of sense, and I've never really noticed this. It says Edgar Wright has stated that the movie was done in the style of a musical.
I was just gonna read that.
But instead of the characters breaking into a song
Fight sequences
and dance, they break into a fight.
So here's the thing why I wanted to bring it up to him was because if you haven't gathered by now, I fucking hate musicals. So the fact that was shot in that intention, I was shocked that I loved it so much. And if I'm being honest, the sequences of the band's playing though still, and this combined, it's got musical elements completely.
Yeah, it really does. And that's why I read that, because I know you hate musicals, and I was like, I read that, and
I was looking forward to sharing that part. I have it noted right here.
They avoided the R rating. To avoid the R rating, the word "fuck" said by Envy to Julie had to be bleeped out because Scott Pilgrim calls Todd Ingram a cocky cock earlier in the film.
Oh boy. Oh boy. The comic creator, his name's Brian Lee O'Malley. So respect to you for coming up with such a unique and amazing, very time centric, I feel like a good timepiece for the era this was released. So 2011, you've got kids wearing Jankos and wearing the shirts that are all the fashion that's in this movie is exactly that. It's maybe late 90s to that 2011 window. And everything's just so on point with this, down to the music. Like it just really, I think it'll resonate. Not just, I know my son, my older son, I know he loves this movie too. So I think this just resonated with people that are, if you're born in early 80s all the way up through, even 2020, I would say this movie is good. It still holds up. I think kids are drawn towards it. I loved it.
Yeah, like I said, my son loved this film. He's the one that really fell in love with this film. And now my son is 21 now, but when this came, because what year did this come out? This was
2011.
2010. So when this came, well, according to IMDb, it's 2010.
Is that like the French release or something?
I don't know. 2010, 2011.
Chillerama, when I looked it up before, it did the same thing to me where it said the French date release, and so it threw me off by 2 years. So I didn't know.
2010, 2011. So my son was born in 2004. So, so he would have been 5, 6. So he'd been 6, 7 years old when this came out. And he was probably a year or two after that he watched it and fell in love. So, yeah, I mean, you're looking at a 10-year-old probably that fell in love with this film, and then obviously, we watched it over and over and over. So, yeah, a younger generation will love this film, and they will watch this film.
What is the one evil ex that's the lesbian in the face? That's why. What was her name? Do you remember the character? And the reason I bring this up is because you just said that you're watching over and over with your son, and how does Scott Pilgrim defeat her?
I'm trying to remember now. Oh God,
through orgasm.
Yeah, yeah.
Way to teach him young, Dad.
He didn't know. There was probably worse things he watched than this.
That a boy.
I mean, I was a child of the '80s watching Porky's, so and the Party Animal. He can survive watching some Scott Pilgrim.
Dude, it is such a real and accurate assessment of us in the 80s, though. We'd all be working with the bunny ears or the hanger to adjust it just to try and get a peek of Skinamax so it would skip the screen a little bit.
Well, I think I've told you this before, but my dad had a satellite with a descrambler, so we had
Oh,
we had
nice.
everything for free. So even the porn channels was free, not just Skinamax. So like, yeah,
I raved the other day. It was like they were listening to me. I raved the other day about how Plex and Tubi are free. And I love that. I think Tubi too is probably one of the best streaming platforms, at least for the stuff we like.
yeah. For me, I actually enjoy Tubi more than I do Netflix and like Max and those.
It's got even the major movies has a great selection. Like it's not shitty. But what I'm getting at though is so my brother has his own tower through Plex, and because my brother shares that with me, now they're trying to put a squash to that because it's his own library, and so they can't control it. So now they're going to charge me for it. So if I want to use his subscription or his tower, I've got to pay for that extra fee for the service. So if it's a few bucks, I'll probably end up doing it. But other than that, I'm kind of like I don't want to see Tubi and Plex go the route of this. But if that's what they got to do, that's what they got to do.
So they're going to make you do us a paid subscription just to access.
I think it's only if I'm using a tower, like so anyone else doesn't have to do the paid subscription per se. But if you're using somebody else's tower or library, then that's what you got to do.
Oh, yeah, that's wild. But I guess they got to make money. They got to make money somehow.
Yeah, and that
other than ad revenue.
I hope that ad revenue, and then I wouldn't even mind if Tubi was like, hey, we can only stay free with your help and ask for donations. I would give them a donation because Tubi's that good. Like it like I hate saying that, but it is.
I've said multiple times that I would pay a subscription fee to do away with ads on Tubi.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I'm patient though at this point because
I am too. I don't mind.
I always go with
I don't mind.
I'll deal with commercials. I'll never forget as long as I live. Noah, my youngest, when he first saw a commercial, we had switched over from the commercial free Hulu to the commercial Hulu, and he was like a little kid. He was like 3 or 4, and it was weird for me to even see him process it like this because I've grown up with commercials. But the first commercial popped up, and he's like, "Where'd my show go, Dad? Why isn't my show there? My show's gone. Why? What's this? I didn't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this, Dad. Where's my show?" And he's like freaking out because he'd never seen a commercial before. And I'm like, this is weird that this is where we're at now. Like this years ago now, but like 8 years ago almost. But my God, it's so weird to think about.
Yeah, kids today don't understand the joys of putting, especially not even being able to rewind what you're watching, but watching live TV and running in during commercial break to make a bowl of cereal really quick before the commercials were done to come in and finish watching your cartoon or whatever you were watching.
We talked about on the Revenge of the Sith episode, we talked about how we on Cartoon Network once a week we got a 5-minute episode of the Clone Wars cartoon, and you were just hoping you didn't miss that 5 minutes because it was so important because you wanted to see the whole thing come together. Yeah, it was insane. No kids, and I wasn't even a little kid when that came out. That was
yeah. At least back then I had DVR, but still, before DVR, if you didn't catch it, you missed it. Now even with commercials like with Tubi, or even if you do the Netflix, the cheap Netflix where it has ads, you can still rewind and. If you miss something,
Yeah. You know what? I know the streaming services too, like that's fine, but I'm going to bring up one more point. I found out yesterday because I was streaming the Cavs game live, and I found out yesterday that I'm not crazy. Max is really fucked up with the volume. Have you ever? Max has I have to turn my volume up twice what my normal sound bar's on to hear the things coming out of there, and then the sound effects will go through the fucking floor out of nowhere, and then it goes back down to whispers.
You know what's crazy? You say that, but I'll have it on Max, and I'll switch Max to Netflix, and Netflix starts with that dun dun as soon as it starts,
and you forget the volume,
and the volume is so different between them that when Netflix comes on, it's so loud by the comparison of
Yeah.
where I had Max, and it blows you away.
Yeah, Max has always been an issue for that, and then I feel like Disney's doing the same because right now I have the package up. We were talking earlier. I have Disney, Hulu, and Max all together, and I feel like Disney is almost comparable with Max at a certain point. Like I found all the Star Wars stuff I'm watching turning up lately, and frustrating. But I digress. Scott Pilgrim.
So
We get off on tangents.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the final fight on this, and this whole movie is basically, for me anyway, it feels very comic book, but also it's very fighting video game style. Every fight scene is like a jumping into Street Fighter, or something, in a video game, and the final battle is no different. You get into the final battle, it's straight up, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat type fight. Scott loses.
But was it Chris Evans or was it Todd that he got the one up from?
Yeah, I can't remember.
He got a one up from one of those battles, and he loses, and he's in that subspace highway, in that little realm, if you will, and he's being told he's dead and the whole thing, and he pops back out, and he's better than ever, and he's ready to go, but it rewinds.
Mm-hmm.
It rewinds and resets like a video game would, or you got to go back to your save point.
Yeah.
So he goes through, and he knows what to do every step of the way, gets all the way up to Gideon, and he knows what he's going to do, and Gideon's surprised and thrown off, and he beats Gideon, but then Nega Scott. So
Yeah.
I love Nega Scott. So one of my favorite Funkos, because I have the Funkos of Scott Pilgrim, is Nega Scott. I love the figure.
Oh, I missed that. I would have loved to have caught
he's
that
cool.
one.
He's black and white with red eyes with the sword.
Yeah.
So it's pretty rad. But yeah, so that battle ensues. It comes to fruition, and you think him and Ramona aren't going to get. I almost thought Knives Chow was going to get back together with him, but we don't go that route. She actually, Knives Chow tells him to chase Ramona because Ramona tries to leave and walk off in the distance, and they walk off hand in hand. But because Scott realizes he's got nowhere to stay, because by the way, Wallace, the roommate that he had the whole time, he kept saying, "You got to leave, Scott. You got to move out." He kept saying that, and so Scott realizes he's got nowhere to go, nowhere to be, and Knives is telling him, "Go ahead, go follow her, fight for her. You wanted this." And so they walk through the door of the subspace highway, holding hands together.
Yeah.
So
It's such a cool ending. This whole movie is just cool.
it just has, not only is it cool, but like the energy. Like there's just that energy to it that you just feel good watching it. It's just good fight sequences, good music, great vibe all around. It's just, I don't know, good time.
There's very little I can sit here and say negative about this film. The only negative for me is Michael Cera. However, he's great as Scott Pilgrim. I just don't like him.
No, yeah, I agree.
That's the only really big negative I can give to this film.
There was a couple parts that made me laugh really hard in the movie Superbad, but outside of that, I didn't care for Superbad. I'm not gonna lie,
No.
and part of that was because of Michael Cera. Pretty much most of the stuff he's in, unfortunately, he's always the same guy in everything he does. You can't just get. He hasn't outgrown the wimpy, frail aspect. He's not a big muscular dude by any means. There's not much range when it comes to him.
Mm-mm. I liked him in what was it? This Is the End.
Oh yeah. I forgot he was in that.
Yeah, where he's like doing cocaine while getting a blowjob, like in a bathroom. Like, yeah, it's just he's such a douchebag in it, but he's literally the same nerdy idiot that he is in all these movies. But he's like, yeah, I love him in that. But Michael Cera, I'm literally scrolling through his IMDb right now, and there is literally nothing that I really care about. I was never a fan of
what
Juno.
was that caveman movie he was
Year
in?
one.
Oh my god! Like I didn't watch it, thank God. But
Awful.
I just saw the trailer and I was like, "Fuck no."
One movie that he did, right before Scott Pilgrim that I liked was Youth and Revolt. That one was pretty good. He has like a split personality in it.
I think I've seen that. I don't know. I've got to check. I got to look at that.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. But like,
He was in Juno.
yeah, He's the main guy in Juno.
I think I have that whole movie blocked out.
You must, because he's the one that knocks up
Elliot Page.
Yeah.
Well, sorry,
Ellen Page at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was confusing for a second.
Yeah. So like, yeah, there's just I like Sausage Party. He did Sausage Party,
of course.
but oh come on, that movie is fantastic.
I'm just the name.
Have you never seen it?
I don't know what we're talking about. Oh, that's the animated. Right?
Yeah.
I think I watched it with the kiddos.
I mean, it's Seth Rogen.
No, maybe I didn't. This was an adult animated, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's an adult animated movie.
Okay, no, I didn't watch the kiddos.
And it's Seth Rogen, Nick Kroll. Like the cast is great, and it's literally a movie about a sausage trying to get with a bun. Maybe that's one we're going to have to review if he hasn't seen that one, because man, that one's great.
We can do better.
Sausage Party's good, man. But yeah, Michael Cera, he's just not an actor that I'm a fan of. So
budget.
You know what? I haven't looked at it. Do you have it? Okay.
Well, here's the thing. There was conflicting numbers. So I'm going to give a range of what the budget was. So go ahead and guess.
I'm going to, because it's an Edgar Wright film. The cast is pretty banging. The special effects are banging. I'm going to say 20 mil.
Way low.
Yeah, I figured I would be.
It was 60. I had 60 million and 85 million. And I guess they, from my understanding, this movie took 5 years to get across the finish line. So it was a fight. Do you have any idea what it made U.S. or domestic and world?
I have no clue, but I'm going to do a wild guess. I don't know. I don't remember how well this movie did or how bad it did. I'm going to say 150.
Nope, not even close. So this is why I was saying that this movie needs a re-release, because it's become a cult classic. I feel like it would almost do better now if it was re-released than it did when it came out. Domestically, it did 33.5 million, and gross worldwide is 51.8 million.
Oh, okay.
So this movie definitely didn't even break even.
I was way off on everything.
Yeah, I mean, for us, how much we love this movie now, it's easy to see it through those eyes and see it as better than it was, but it was not received well at the time.
Yeah, I could not remember if it did well at the theaters, because I didn't care about the movie when it came out, because of Michael Cera, and so I couldn't remember if it bombed or if it did well. So yeah, I could see. I bet a lot of the people didn't watch it for the same reason I didn't.
Yeah, because you don't know what you're getting into, and it looks kind of like weird and could be wonky, but it ends up being pretty amazing. Oh. All right.
Ratings. You want me to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, I generally love this movie. There's not a lot of negative I can say about it, other than what we've been saying. Michael Cera, I don't like him. I don't care for Brie Larson, but you know what? Brie Larson, she's in it, but she's not in it so much that it kills the movie for me. I love the cast. The cast is great. I love the cameos. I love the fight scenes. I love the animation. I love the music. Pretty much everything I'm talking about, I love about this film. And as much as I love this film and the way I'm praising it, you would think that I would give this movie a perfect 5. I am not. Because I still just don't like Michael Cera. I cannot give a film with Michael Cera a fucking perfect 5, no matter how good it is. This movie is up here for me, though. This movie is definitely, I'm going to leave it at a 4.4.
Okay, that's solid. For me, I think I love almost all the characters in this, and while I'm not a Michael Cera fan either, he delivers as Scott Pilgrim. But most importantly, Julie. Aubrey Plaza, dear God, I love you. And Mrs. Kenobi, but she's taken by Ewan, and I can't do that to Ewan. So, Aubrey, what's up? No, this movie just constantly throws twists and turns you're not expecting. The battles are awesome every time a new evil X pops out of the woodwork, and everything that goes through and through. It just creates a great adventure. The pacing is spectacular. There's no lulls, there's no boredom, there's no it's just a good solid movie. And as I told JP, it's rewatchable over and over for me. So I am a little lower than JP, but it's still up there to 4 for me. So 4 nerds from me. Excellent movie. Can put this on any time and feel good about it.
Yeah, and maybe for me too. This is a movie that me and my son, like you always say, you watch stuff with your kids, and it's very impactful. It's more impactful for you when there's something you watch with your kids, and this is
For sure.
This is one that me and my son really connected with. So I have a soft spot for this film.
Okay.
Because of that. For a lot of the same reasons sometimes you do. Whenever you connect with a movie that I don't connect with, and sometimes it's because you
Totally get that.
get it with your kids. Recommendations?
Let's see.
I've got one right off. So, since we did Scott Pilgrim, I am going to recommend one of my go-to movies, and I love this fucking movie. It has an actor from Scott Pilgrim, Brandon Routh, which is Dylan Dog, Dead of Night.
Oh, wow. That's a decent movie.
I love Dylan Dog.
Yeah,
Dylan Dog. If you've never seen Dylan Dog, it is Brandon Routh plays a private detective, and he is a former private detective for the underworld of monsters in the world. So vampires, werewolves, zombies are all real. And he's the one that originally was like the little investigator that was like a work between all of them as a independent, outside source for them. Things happened. He no longer works for him. He's exiled from them, but he gets drawn back into that part of the world, and it escalates from there. It's a fun movie. It has him. It has what's his name from Being Human.
Not Sam Witwer. It's
Not the other Sam.
Sam Worthington, not Worthington.
Huntington. Is it Huntington? Yeah, Sam Huntington. Yeah. It has Sam Huntington, Brandon Routh, Kurt Angle has a role in it. There's a lot of recognizable people you'll know
if you like demon stuff. It's vampires, werewolves. It's like all of them, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all of them. Zombies, werewolves, vampires. It's a fucking fun movie. So if you've never seen it, check it out. I think at one point it was streaming on Max or Tubi or maybe both. Hell, I don't know. But it is out there available to kind of find.
Have you ever seen The Traveler with Val Kilmer?
I don't think I have.
Okay. So there's a movie. It came out in 2014. It's called Let Us Pray. And I just watched this recently, and the main character is played by Liam Cunningham. He was in Game of Thrones, most notably. But it's interesting because both the movies had the same premise, and Let Us Pray kind of followed suit. It kind of copied off of The Traveler, if I'm being honest. There's a police station. This random person comes in, and weird events start happening at the police station where everyone's sins that are within the police station are coming to the forefront, and you start unraveling, finding out how horrible some of these people really are that are within it, whether it be the police or the criminals. And it's just kind of a interesting movie that moves along nicely that I checked out recently just to throw on and see what it was. Again, not original, definitely looks like a copy off of The Traveler with Val Kilmer, but still very, very cool premise. And I love Cunningham in the role that he plays in this because it's he's very sinister almost. So I'm a fan of that.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know that one, so I'll have to check that one out. CineNerdsPodcast.com. What are you doing with your life if you're not there?
Be there or be square.
We have all of our reviews, all of our links. Our shop is there. Go check it out. Leave a comment. Leave a comment on our Apple Podcast. You leave a comment on this video after you get out of the live chat. Click like, share it on all your socials.
Sharing is caring.
All righty. Until next time,
Cheers.
peace.